Hello, Exosage here on the Sage channel. It is Sleep, Art, Game, and Eat, and a small patch came out today for Space Engineers that added a few interesting things. Now, really quickly, if I go into Options, and I believe it is Game, you can see now we have a few new things here. We have Disable Head Bob, which I've enabled to disable said head bob, which is nice, and then we also have Show Player Names. Now, you might turn this on and hop into a server and discover that, I can't see anybody's name. That would be because there's a second option. So there we go, I've got it turned on the Show Player Names, but when you're creating your world, let's go into Custom, you can also see they've changed the name of the Survivor world to Lone Survivor. And you can see now, right here at the very bottom, you can see there is now an option to disable Show Player Names. So basically, if you decide, hey, I don't want anybody being able to see player names, even if they want to be able to, voila, you can turn that off in your server settings, just as you usually would. So let me just load up a world really quick, and I'll grab some friends, and we can look over some of the other changes that I have found. Alrighty, so here I am on Easy Start 1, and I just thought, before my friends hop on, I'd show a few things that I've noticed this time, and actually I have a feeling some might have been in the game since the last update. I just forgot to mention them. One of them, you can probably hear it now, is the sounds have all gotten a bit of an update. I believe this was definitely the last update. I just forgot to mention it. Even including just using your jetpack. Some nice little sounds with that. I actually like that a lot, hearing the jetpack fire, and even when you just turn it off and back on, there's a small buzzing. It's really, really nice. I'm glad they added that, and I really should have pointed out that when they first added it in. Another thing, though, I did notice today, which, again, I don't know if this was in the last update or this one, look at the guns on these things, the Easy Start 1 vehicles. In the past, they used to be mounted over here on the sides. All of a sudden, they've been moved. Very, very strangely, they've moved them to the front of the ship. I believe this is to increase accuracy with them when you're flying. That way, when you're aiming, and basically, let me put these down here. When you're aiming, the target reticles, or the little red dots that actually are, closer to the center to where you're actually trying to aim, and not so much out to the sides like they used to be, which, well, it makes a lot of sense for aiming and stuff, but it's slightly unfortunate for looks. I actually like them a whole lot more when they are on the sides, but anyway, thought I'd point that out. Guns, still painfully loud, though, even though my sounds on everything else are pretty damn low. Another thing that they did in the previous update that I have forgotten to point out was, if I was to go over here and let's just review, put you there, drag you out to about here, I believe they have changed it so that missiles can no longer fire through each other. So if I'm correct on this, somebody on my comments told me this, I had forgotten to point it out. Yep, missiles no longer fire through each other. Thank you, commenter. Sorry I don't remember your name. But yeah, can't fire missiles through each other anymore. Slightly unfortunate for some of those bigger weapons that I've built in the past, but in the long run, I'm actually glad they did that. I believe the same thing might apply if I really quickly set this up for Gatling guns. Well, unfortunately, it looks like Gatling guns might still be able to fire through each other and are painfully loud, even though everything else is quiet. Well, hopefully that'll change someday in the future. Okay, now let me actually get a hold of my friends and test a few different things. Hey, bit of a cut there. I wasn't actually able to get a hold of any of my usual friends, but luckily Crow was kind enough to help me out, and we did some testing. You can see here he's mining away at these rocks, and believe it or not, he could not actually see any of the rocks rolling down the hill and stuff. For some reason, it looks like a lot of stuff that was supposed to be shared or client-side and server-side now is still apparently just server-side. Like these rocks, I could drop them, he couldn't see them. Just like those other rocks he was just mining. Couldn't see him for some reason. Right here, he's actually dropped a few rocks too, and I couldn't see him. Then we also thought, well, we better check the other stuff. And actually, we first of all ran into some trouble where the main panels that you usually click on couldn't do that. But luckily, we found if you just click on the control panel, you can still access the small containers as long as you go to your inventory tab at the top left. But strangely enough here, I'm putting this stuff in there. He couldn't see that. We reversed the test and did it this other way and see if I could see something show up. Nothing happened. Bit strange. Don't know exactly what's going on there. Here you can see I also tested out the names. They do luckily disappear when they're not directly in front of you. It's not like beacons where you can see them forever. Very, very cool. Also, I found out that if you turn off your UI, voila, no more names. Very cool. Allows you to still do cinematic stuff. Of course, as I was talking about earlier, if you go into your options and disable the, let me find it here, there it is, the show player names, again, even if the server has it set to show them, they disappear. Very, very cool. Very, very useful. Now, in our testing, I did find one little bug. And actually, it's a bug I had found earlier today when I first started testing alone. And I tried to show it to Crow and actually just you guys, but for some reason it didn't happen. It did happen to him. Basically, the glitch is, and I think it's sort of a death glitch, where the game, or at least on my side, thinks you're supposed to be dead, but you aren't. So, for him, right now, because I blew that up, he cannot actually access his guns or any of the tools. If he was to open his inventory, he was still able to see all of his tools and stuff, but if he actually tried to equip them and use any of them, they just didn't show up. They were invisible to him. Because I'm hosting, and because I'm server side then, my game thinks he no longer has anything in his inventory. Very, very strange. It happened to me earlier when I wasn't recording. It's a very, very strange bug. Now, I kept blowing stuff up, trying to get myself to lose my weapons, basically. Didn't happen. What did happen, though, is, you'll see it here. You can see I'm basically continuing to blow stuff up. I'm going to overlay a few images now, and you see, even though I'm seeing a nice, big, clear, relatively, smoothly blasted out area, Crow, for some reason, was getting these weird square sort of blast areas. And in fact, he could walk on those even though I couldn't, because I couldn't even see him. But even though I'm still blowing up explosives, even that were near those, for some reason it was not deforming at all for him. Very, very strange. Very, very odd. And I don't exactly know why. I'm starting to wonder if maybe Crow had some issues on his side that aren't common, but I mean, if he's getting them, I'm sure there might be other people. So if you're getting issues like you saw in those screenshots, go ahead and tell the devs, and hopefully it'll get fixed. I've never even heard of issues like this before, really. It's very, very strange. Then again, I don't usually just go blowing up asteroids. Oh, also, before I go, one last thing. If you press G, of course, it opens up your inventory screen for all the blocks that are currently in the game. They've just recently added something basically for modders, where if you press Shift G, it opens up a whole new listing, and also if you press Control G, it's actually a third screen of possible slots for objects. This is just their current build or fix for a solution of people running out of slots to put stuff in. In the future, I believe they're planning on doing something a bit different. Tabs, or I'm hoping actually something a bit more GUI interfacey like actually Windows, but we'll find out either way. Anyway, thanks a bunch everybody for watching, and I'll see you next time. And also, I just want to say thank you, Crow, for your help. Really appreciate it.